Hey there, Warriors Nation. I hope you're fired up tonight because I've got some sizzling insider chatter that could send shockwaves through the NBA. Before we get into the thick of it, go ahead and tap that like button and hit subscribe. To Warriors News Fan Report, let's make sure our dynasty discussions never miss a beat. Now, imagine for a moment that the Golden State front office just pulled off a seismic move, one so bold it has rival executives scrambling for answers. We're talking about a defensive dynamo and versatile wing who's been instrumental in Boston's success over the past seasons, a player whose perimeter lockdown and steady leadership have helped his team hoist championships. But what if I told you that whispers in the league now suggest this very stalwart could soon be calling the Bay Area home? Hold on to that thought, because we're about to peel back the layers of this blockbuster speculation. It all began when a handful of NBA insiders noted that the Warriors have quietly scouted this guard for months, eyeing his ability to guard multiple positions and complement the splash-heavy attack led by our sharpshooters. Sources say initial discussions between Golden State's brass and the players' camp traced back to spring meetings at the league headquarters, where murmurs of a mutual interest first sparked. Could it be that the front office envisioned pairing this two-way threat alongside Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, fortifying a backcourt that's looked the part of champions but has sometimes struggled to contain elite perimeter scorers? The timing couldn't be more intriguing. With the Warriors emerging from a roller coaster season marked by injuries and mid-series adjustments, the need for a reliable high IQ defender has never been more apparent. Remember that Game 4 collapse against the Suns when a clutch three snuck past the rotation? Or the way opposing ball handlers often beat one-on-one coverage at critical junctures in the playoffs? Could this rumored acquisition be the cure to those late-game woes, an infusion of lockdown grit to blend with Golden State's trademark fluid offense? Let's rewind to the core of this player's resume. Over the past 3 seasons, he's averaged roughly 14 points, 5 rebounds, and nearly 5 assists per night, while boasting defensive metrics that rank among the league's best at assignments on both wings and guards. His steal rate, hovering around 2 per game, illustrates a knack for disrupting passing lanes and igniting fast breaks. Imagine that disruptive energy paired with Draymond Green in full defensive orchestration. 2 elite switchers locking down a ring-shaped fortress around the rim, funneling every dribble into contested territory. On the offensive end, this speculation doesn't just center on his defensive prowess. Remember his smooth stroke from 18 to 22 feet, where he's shot north of 38%? Or his clutch mid-range confidence that often stymies late-clock defenses. Warriors fans know how precious spacing is in Steve Kerr's system. Every inch of breathing room matters for our splash maestros. Could his ability to knock down catch-and-shoot opportunities free up Curry's gravity and open driving lanes for Green's playmaking vision? The possibilities hint at an offensive symbiosis we haven't fully witnessed in recent campaigns. But, as with any blockbuster rumor, the devil is in the details, specifically the price tag. Boston, ever the shrewd negotiators, is unlikely to part with this cornerstone without a haul that secures both present competitiveness and future assets. Industry chatter suggests the Celtics would demand an armada of draft picks, perhaps 2 unprotected first-rounders and the right to swap in another, plus a young piece or 2 with untapped upside. Could the Warriors consider packaging a high upside rookie they drafted in the late first round, someone who's shown promise in Summer League but still has room to grow, alongside a veteran role player whose salary matches the incoming star's contract? And what about those mid-level exceptions they've been sitting on? Could those fill out the financial contours of the deal? Front office whispers also point to creative contract wrangling, sign and trade structures that preserve cap flexibility, veteran buyouts for expiring deals, or even leveraging the rarely deployed stretch provision to spread salary cap hits over multiple seasons. Every maneuver carries risk. Losing a locker room glue guy, surrendering future draft ammunition, or unsettling rotation continuity. But when the promise is adding a multi-positional disruptor with championship DNA, many would argue the gamble is worth it. Of course, there's the chemistry question. Warriors' systems thrive on familiarity, the precise spacing, the instinctive cuts, the unspoken synergy between the Splash Brothers and their supporting cast. Introducing a new high usage. Wing midseason could alter the balance. Will Curry cede some shot attempts? Will Clay adjust to more off-ball motion? Can Draymond seamlessly shift from primary defensive anchor to a more collaborative role? Some insiders believe that this rumored addition's team-first mindset and playoff experience would ease the transition. Others caution that even the slightest hiccup in rhythm could derail the flow that's been Golden State's hallmark. Let's peer beyond Golden State's locker room because the league-wide implications are colossal. If this trade materializes, suddenly the West's power balance tilts dramatically. The Lakers, who have been oxymoronically juggling star power and supporting cast, would see their window narrow. The Suns, chasing another finals berth, might feel compelled to counter with their own seismic moves. Even the upstart Grizzlies and Mavericks would have to reevaluate strategies, knowing that silencing this newly fortified Warriors lineup could become the NBA's hardest assignment. And how about the fans? Social media is already lighting up, with mock-ups of golden jerseys emblazoned with the new name, highlight reels splicing playoff heroics from Boston with Steph's signature deep balls. Reddit threads dissect hypothetical rotation patterns, while fan polls ask, will this bring home another title? In local sports bars, you can hear heated debates. Is this the missing piece? One fan asks, while another counters, but will it cost too much of our youth movement? It's the kind of fervor only a rumor of this magnitude can ignite. As we digest these electrifying possibilities, one thing is certain. This speculation has already captured the imagination of every Warriors devotee. Could Golden State really secure yet another game-changing talent and cement their legacy as the NBA's modern dynastic powerhouse? Or will this all turn out to be smoke, fizzling into off-season chatter? Either way, Nassau Warriors, brace yourselves, because if this blockbuster unfolds, it could redefine our franchise's future. Now, sit tight and get ready to dive even deeper. When you are ready for Part 2, where we'll unpack precise trade packages, salary cap alchemy, and the championship blueprint, just let me know, and we'll keep this freight train rolling. If you're as fired up as I am, go ahead and tap that like button and subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report right now. Let's keep this conversation blazing. Now, let's peel back the curtain on exactly how Golden State might navigate this labyrinthine trade and what it means for the future of our dynasty. First off, imagine the phone calls between Warriors general manager and his counterpart in Milwaukee, each side carefully weighing the value of youth, draft capital, and veteran leadership. On the table, insiders say, could be a package featuring Brandon Podziemski, whose ice-cold shooting and calm under pressure make him a rare find for a rookie; Jonathan Kuminga, whose raw athleticism and defensive versatility hint at an all-defensive team ceiling; a trio of unprotected first-round picks 2026, 2028, and a swap option in 2027, plus a salary-matching veteran, perhaps Andrew Wiggins, whose two-way skill set would immediately bolster the Bucks' wing rotation. That kind of offer demands big thinking from Milwaukee. Are they willing to reboot their roster around a new core and banking on draft futures, or do they double down on their current nucleus? The answer could come down to whether they view this as a true, all-in moment or a step too far. Financially, the Warriors would need to perform some Houdini-level cap gymnastics. By executing a sign-and-trade, they could sign the incoming star to a lucrative extension and then use that contract to secure matching salary assets, funneling back role players and picks in a single transaction. Meanwhile, veterans on expiring deals, imagine names like Otto Porter Jr. or Nemanja Bjelica, could agree to buyouts, freeing up roster spots and bucketing salary relief. And let's not forget the elusive stretch provision. By stretching the remaining years of a veteran's contract, the Warriors could spread cap hits across multiple seasons, creating the necessary breathing room today while pushing financial burdens into the future. It's risky, of course. Every veteran you stretch or buy out could mean losing invaluable leadership, and every pick surrendered is a future contributor potentially gone. Yet, when framed against the promise of adding a bona fide two-time MVP, many would argue the risk is worth the potential reward. On the court, questions of chemistry and roles loom large. Steve Kerr's system thrives on the precise choreography of cuts, screens, and spacing. Introducing a new superstar mid-season necessitates recalibrating shot distributions and playmaking duties. Picture Steph Curry still operating as the primary creator, his gravity pulling defenses outward, while our new star crashes the rim, hunting offensive rebounds and finishing alley-oops with thunderous authority. Draymond Green would shift seamlessly into a traditional point-forward role, initiating offense and calling defensive coverages with his trademark tenacity. Klay Thompson, the quintessential off-ball assassin, would feast on catch-and-shoot opportunities as defenses scrambled to contain the interior threat. Could this quartet click immediately, or would early-season growing pains disrupt the fluidity we've come to expect? Some believe that the incoming star's team-first mentality and championship pedigree would smooth any transition hiccups. After all, a player accustomed to winning knows that embracing a system is often the key to lifting another trophy. Yet, skeptics caution that even the slightest dip in ball movement or defensive alignment could undermine a culture built on relentless attention to detail. The reverberations of this potential trade extend far beyond the Bay Area. In Phoenix, the Suns' front office would scramble to retool their backcourt, fearing that guard-heavy lineups pale in comparison to a Warriors roster boasting both lethal perimeter shooting and overpowering inside presence. The Lakers, already juggling superstar egos, would reassess their own star acquisitions, wondering if they must chase even bigger names or risk being left behind. And up north in Minnesota and Denver, contenders would have to decide whether to double down on development or pursue their own marquee additions to keep pace. Every franchise's free agency and trade plans would pivot on whether the Warriors successfully land this titan. In the court of public opinion, the reaction has been nothing short of electric. Dub Nation Twitter threads explode at every insider leak, while Reddit forums dissect darkest verse trade proposals down to the last draft swap nuance. Fan art floods Instagram, depicting the new superstar donning royal blue and gold, and local sports bars overflow with debates about the wisdom of sacrificing our youth movement for a ready-made title contender. Is this the missing piece to secure? Back-to-back championships, or a dramatic overreach that mortgates the team's future? The truth probably lies somewhere in between, but one thing is clear. The conversation has reignited the passionate fire within every Warriors devotee. From a historical standpoint, blockbusters have written both legendary success stories and cautionary tales. When Moses Malone demanded a move to Philadelphia in 1982, the Sixers' subsequent title vindicated the bold move. But other blockbuster trades, like the ill-fated capitulations of draft picks that never panned out, serve as stark reminders that high risk sometimes yields high regret. Could Golden State's brain trust replicate that 82 magic with a perfect blend of analytics, timing, and sheer audacity? Or might they stumble down a path where lost draft capital and fractured chemistry become the ghosts of recess past? Beyond the strategy sessions and front office schematics, this rumor represents something deeper. The undying hunger of a franchise that has already tasted the pinnacle and craves more. For Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, adding a formidable two-way ally could be the final chapter in their quest to cement a legacy as the greatest shooting backcourt ever. For Draymond Green, a reunion with a defensive compatriot could reignite the stifling identity that defined our first 3 championships. And for us, the fans, it's the thrill of possibility, the intoxicating hope that yet another dynasty chapter is about to unfold in the Bay. So here's where you come in, Warriors Nation. What's your verdict on this audacious speculation? Would you sacrifice future drafts and youth movement momentum to secure an immediate title push? Or do you believe Golden State should chart a patient course, preserving assets for the next generation? Personally, I'm torn between the exhilarating promise of instant greatness and the sober caution of preserving our future. Yet, something in me leans toward seizing the moment, because dynasties are built not on timidity, but on bold leaps. Of faith. I can't wait to dive into your thoughts in the comments below. If this breakdown got your heart pounding, make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and ding that notification bell so you're front and center for every update. Until next time, Nason Warriors, stay golden.